people are out for what is truly an amazing event. It's the 11th Volvo Ocean Race here in Galway. It's the finale, so being the final leg, the boats are now resting in the bay. But the crew still party on, even after spending 9 months being sleep deprived, travelling around the world in mountainous seas and gale force winds. Sailing doesn't get much better than this, but there's something exciting going on in Galway. On Fláinneog is a new boat built by the students from the VEC. I'm looking to find out more about what seems to be a growing passion for traditional boat building here in the west of Ireland.
These boats we see behind us are boats called Galway hookers. They're wooden, traditional, gaff-rigged cutter boats of Carvel Constructions. They're massively built. They were the workhorse of Connemara and Galway Bay for many, many hundreds of years. Well, from the mid-18th century anyway. And they were used to carry people, livestock, general cargo. They were used for fishing. They had lots of uses. And their working days finished in the early 1970s. But we still have them as pleasure boats. And they've enjoyed a revival as pleasure boats. And they're a lovely sailing craft.
And what was your first memory of, say, getting into sort of these type of boats?
Well, as a child we used to go on holidays to Carrow, and at that time if you wanted to go to the Aran Islands there were no fast hydrofoil ferries available. What there were Galway hookers carrying turf mainly to the Aran Islands from places like Russaville, Calahaig, Strahan and Carrow, and you used to just take a spin in one of them with one of the boat owners, and that's my earliest memory as a child.
Have you ever got involved in the construction of them yourself?
The Galway Hooker Association, of which I was a member from the beginning in 1978, organised a training course for young people to train as traditional boatwrights. And out of that training course there are probably 4 people working as expert full-time boatwrights.
Yeah. And also, you actually own one of these boats yourself. Can you explain what the different types of boats, you know, a lot of people don't understand when they hear hooker, they kind of think of it as this brown sail boat, but there's different varieties, different sizes. Can you just explain to me what the different sizes are?
Basically there are 2 types of sail plans, sail rigs. One is the gaff-rigged cutter, in other words a boom underneath and a gaff on top of the mainsail. And there are 3 categories. There's the Bodmore, which is the biggest one. There's the Liawad, which takes half the load of the Bodmore, and there's a Gliotiog. And as well as that, there is another type, smaller type, which has a lug sail, a dipping lug sail they call it, which is called a Pukon, and that's basically the Galway hooker.
Hi Patrick Connolly here, tutor of the boat building from the VEC. Hi Patrick, can you tell me basically what it entails from the start to finish of boat building?
Well, what we have here is a Carvel constructed boat. It's a timber curragh. The keel is a rockered keel. So when we start off on the build of a Carvel or a timber curragh with the rockered keel, we start with the template with the keel, but we don't install the keel until the very end.
It's different to the working curraghs you see today. It has a higher lift in the back because it's not built for an engine. So I found that interesting myself. You know, Patrick was telling us he got the mould for this boat off a family from Cairn that they used to build boats, the Caseys, and they're well known as great boat builders.
We put moulds in, and then we put ribbands around those moulds and cut each individual frames from the stem back to the stern. And once they're in, then we start with the levelling plank or the shear strake, which is this one here, and we put the belted strake under. We put that's this one that's protruding out here, and then we just start putting the planks on from there on, and then we caulk the seams. So that's basically what's involved with a Carvel built boat.
And roughly how long from start to finish, time-wise, and how many people are involved in actually the project here we see behind us?
There was six students involved for 10 hours a week. That's the time we were given, you know. So,
say the skills that it takes to become a boat builder. Like where did that originate for yourself?
I was actually in the the RTC at the time doing construction studies and didn't have a big interest in it, and the Galway Hookers Association then came up with this course in boat building, and it was a 2-year course, and I applied for it and I got the place, and I spent 2 years in Letsakala, and I spent 4 years with another shipwright after the course was finished.
Well, I found it very interesting. My dad always had a curragh, and I found it very interesting building it, finding out about the lines, the different timbers used, the bevels. It was quite complicated. I think we all put a bit of ourselves in the boat, like.
And I suppose it's thanks to the VEC that that opportunity became available.
It is indeed, yeah. I thought it was a great idea. As soon as I heard that the course was going ahead, I like working on the sea myself, and I have a passion for the curraghs, and it's traditional curragh too.
So what's next for you now after this course? Is there another course lined up?
There's a course lined up for September where we're going to be refurbishing a Galway hooker on behalf of the Bádaín Chláda, which is the Clada boatmen, and we'll be doing that in September now.
Great, so any enthusiasts need apply, contact the VEC.
Exactly, yeah.
Great, thanks Pádraig.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.